Welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. The horrors of war are playing out on our television screens as thousands of Afghans flee their country seeking shelter wherever they can. Fortunately, many are relocating in America. Here in Salem, a family of 10 is calling Salem home. And more will be coming. My guest today is Luke Glaze, Executive Director of Salem For Refugees. So you've just received your first group of Afghan refugees. Quickly tell us, how are they doing? How are they settling in?
Yeah, we received a family of 10 about 2 weeks ago into Salem. These are special immigrant visa holders, which means that they were interpreters or working directly alongside the U.S. military in Afghanistan. And they have settled with a cousin of theirs who lived in Salem. And so they are being hosted currently at that home as we are looking to secure permanent housing, looking at employment options for the family, and getting kids enrolled in school. And thankfully, the family is doing very well. And what I've heard is that there is just a hunger and eagerness to get connected, to find work, and to get to know this new community.
We hear stories about Afghan refugees. Can you just tell us? Some of these stories are so heartbreaking and rather amazing. Can you tell us anything about this family?
Yeah, for this most recent family that's arrived, just the timing of their arrival, I think will hit home for a lot of people as they left Afghanistan the day after the bombings in Kabul, where a number of service members were killed. So you can just imagine how fresh and recent the trauma is for these individuals coming out of already a country at war, and then with the most recent invasion and takeover of their capital city, fleeing with really just the clothes on their back. In fact, this family needed to not take as much things on the plane. There just wasn't as much room. And so they had to put on as much clothing as they could possibly wear. And that's the way that they arrived to us here in the United States.
How are the Afghan refugees being handled to get them here so quickly? And why Salem?
Currently at the base, families are being processed and vetted, going through a lot of paperwork processes, getting their work authorization cards, applying for Social Security, and also getting the needed vaccinations as part of this program. Then families will be assigned to resettlement agencies throughout the United States to help take this large number of 70,000 and break it down into small chunks. Salem for Refugees in particular is going to host at least 3 to 5 families. And this is a new development for us as we are now able to receive cases directly to Salem.
Excuse me, you just said you now can get, you are actually now, you have a new designation?
Yes, we were in the middle of an application process with the State Department, applying to become an official resettlement agency with the hope of a January 1 start date. But because of this crisis, the State Department considered an early approval of our application, and we are now approved and hope to be a part of this Afghan process, welcoming families to Salem.
So you are actually going to be handling cases now instead of working with other agencies with that resettlement designation. You are a resettlement center.
That's correct. Yes, we do hope to continue supporting cases from our partners in Portland if they see fit to settle families into the Salem area. But yes, now we can receive our own cases directly from World Relief, who is our national partner, and we have now become an affiliate of them, being able to resettle here in Salem.
How do you help refugees resettle? And what services do you offer them?
Yeah, if you imagine picking up and moving to a new country, all of the things that you would need as the things that a resettlement agency work to provide. Things like short-term housing, and then transitioning into long-term housing, supports for employment, getting kids enrolled in schools, providing the necessary furniture and setup of a new home, language learning resources available to the families, and connecting them with our community and the resources that are available here.
I'm trying to put myself in the position of what it would feel like to be somebody brand new in our country, learning everything about it. They need a lot of help. And what are they telling you they need right now? And how can the community help you with that?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest resources that we're able to provide new families is what's called cultural orientation. It's one of the requirements from the State Department, and it's a number of topics broken up into a class-like format where we have members of the community teach the classes along with interpretation for the families, where they're able to get to know this new society that they're living in. Things like the laws that govern our country, learning about the education system or healthcare system. There's just so many ways in which learning needs to take place for new families arriving. And it's a great way for the community to get involved.
Do you need volunteers?
Yes, we are a volunteer driven organization. We have around 200 volunteers at any given time working to help provide these services for families. The two most important ways that we recruit volunteers is for good neighbor teams. These teams are hospitality focused teams that are assigned directly to a family and work with that family over a year, connecting with them, showing them community resources available, meeting for meals, and again, a real focus on hospitality. The second area is resource teams. These teams focus around a specific resource area like education, employment, housing, and these teams are then used as a referral for clients coming in. For example, in the area of an employment, a refugee would be referred to this team, and the team would help in resume writing, job search activities, and coaching.
That's good to know. And I have to say, you are now celebrating your 5th anniversary, and this is such big news, a great way to begin your new adventure. How many refugees have you helped in that time, and what do you anticipate for the future?
Yeah, in the last 5 years, we've helped resettle 375 individuals in the Salem area from about 14 different countries, speaking over 20 languages combined. And it has been a great privilege. Looking to the future, not only in our response to this Afghan crisis, but also receiving the normal refugee clients, we do hope to see that capacity increase and be able to settle more families in the Salem area.
What kind of emotional reaction is it for all of you seeing them? And do you have an emotional reaction to this that you can share?
I think the airport arrival is really the point of most emotion for our staff and probably for the families as well, as it really marks a new season. And families are met with signs and balloons and flowers and gifts from people in the community. And it's a very small but tangible way for the community to say, you are welcome here, you are wanted. I know for this most recent family, the father said, I just wasn't sure what the response would be to us coming. And this allowed them to just be at peace that, okay, the Salem community will receive us and welcome us.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, because I know you're in the middle of so much activity going on. This is a great way for us to connect and let the community know what you're doing and update everyone. All right, so your website is salemforrefugees.org, and you can learn about how you can participate, volunteer, help you out. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of Salem for Refugees, I just want to say thank you to the Salem community for your support. It has definitely been felt in these last few weeks as we're responding to these events.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for joining us today on InSight with my guest, Luke Glaze, the Executive Director of Salem for Refugees. Thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.